night hiking than day hiking. We'll see. So that's the plan. On to Kendall. I think I got about 13 miles now. And I'll sleep with my friends in the cemetery again tonight. Or alongside the road if I just zonk out. I think somebody's lost here on the road. Can't find her way home. That's okay. I'll stay over here. You can stay over there. All right. Maybe you follow me to Kendall, or you lead me there. What do you think? Don't know, huh? Okay. I'll keep you. I'll update you here when anything happens. All right. See you later. Have a nice night. Good morning. Getting ready to take off from the Kendall Cemetery. Yep, I camped out with my quiet friends last night. I got in here about 2:30. But I want to mention something. When I was on the road here last night, I met up with Deputy Will Roberts from the Hamilton County Sheriff's Department. Told him where I was going to camp, right here, Kendall Cemetery. And he said, hey, you know, maybe you want to think about going across the highway there. This is Highway 50 behind me. And there's a little truck turnaround area that truckers sometimes use to sleep it off if they need to. Well, let me show you. Hold on one second here. So I crossed the road there, and Will, I was looking for that spot, and I couldn't see really anything in the night. But now that it's daytime, I think I see the little spot you were probably talking about. So Will, I did look for it, and I did take your advice, but I couldn't find it. So I came back over here to the cemetery. And Will and I were talking about Boy Scouts and how Boy Scouts are not the same these days anymore. So anyway, and to everyone at the Hamilton County Sheriff's Department, thanks for being on the lookout for me. Crystal, thank you very much. So like I said, it's onward to Lakin today. 19 miles, probably take me most of the day. I'm just going to take it slow from shade to shade to shade, be going along the river road and railroad tracks down there. And then, another interesting tidbit. I think right on the other side of this road is a new county. What is that, Sutton County? I don't know. But it's a new time zone as well. So I'm going from Mountain Time Zone to Central Time Zone. So actually I'm, it's not going to take me 12 hours. It's going to take me 13 hours to get to Lakin. All right, Lakin today, Garden City tomorrow. Like I said, Dodge City I think is 3 days from there. Over and out. Couldn't see much last night, but I knew that I did pass, guess that's a grain elevator, grain storage facility, I don't know, processing place. That was all lit up, so I knew I passed that. So this is Kendall. I'm going to actually turn down this road, the County Line Road. But anyway, it's been wheat harvest time, so ouch, whoosh. All these trucks been coming and going today. So I guess that's all the wheat for all the farms in the area, and they do their thing there. There's a train track there too, so I guess they fill up the trains there, and off it goes onto your table and mine and the rest of the world. Amber waves of grain, right? Bountiful harvest. All right. It's going to be interesting to watch my phone change time if it does. Because I think right here is the time change, is the next county. Huh. Looking back to Kendall, and that's west. And then looking east. Oh look, I think there's a cow. There's that a deer? on the road there? Huh. I'm on the north side of the river, so this is what would be now back onto the Santa Fe Trail. History, walking it again. I hope I can see that deer up there. Yeah, we just went across the tracks. And speaking of the Santa Fe Trail, here's a trail marker. Heading that way. Well, that was pretty nice. I stopped here in the shade just to take a little rest to cool off, and actually took a nap for about an hour. And so it's time to get a move on. Got about 11 miles to go to Lakin. It's a little after 3 o'clock. I think that's Central Time, so it's a little after 2 o'clock in comparison with the time I started in Mountain Time. All right, Lakin, it's behind me. But this is a nice little nap right here off the side of the road. Shade, breeze, rejuvenating. Santa Fe Trail. So right after I got up from that nap and started to get going, Kearney County Sheriff deputies just happened to be coming by this way towards me, and we got to talking about the history of the area and all that. And I saw this on the map, but I didn't think much about it. There's a place up here ahead. I don't know if this is it or if it's further ahead, called Indian Mound. And it's the place where the settlers would, from time to time, have to circle the wagons, literally, to defend themselves from the raiding parties of the Indians. So, interesting history around here. As the deputy said, these flyover states that some so derogatorily call them have a lot of history in them. So if you ever have a chance to do a road trip, come out here to the plains and seek out the history, because there's a lot of history around here, more than you would expect. And once again, remember that the Arkansas River right over here, that was the border between the United States and Mexico, and also Spanish territory for some time. All right, if I can find Indian Mound, I'll show it to you. Oh, that's pretty out there. I think this is about 9 miles, maybe 8.5 miles east of Lakin. It's hot, but it's pretty. This looks inviting, doesn't it? Yeah, refreshing. A little muddy, but still. Jump in there and float all the way in. Oh, yeah. Here's an interesting little historical fact. Right now, I'm walking through what used to be Heartland, Kansas. Used to be the county seat of Kearney, Kansas. And what's left here is nothing. So the story goes, and I'll put the link right up here. You can go look at it, and be sure you come back to the video and keep watching and read up about it. Apparently, back in the late 1800s, there was a vote of the people of Kearney County as to which city was going to be the official county seat. Lakin, up ahead here, or Kearney, which was right here. Well, people voted, and Heartland, right here, won the election. And this was in the late 1800s, and so everything was fine and good. It was a booming town. Lots of stuff going on here. I think about 2,000 people living here. But the county commissioners up in Lakin didn't like that, so they refused to turn over the county records over here to the courthouse that they built in Heartland. And it was a big court case. Went up to this Kansas Supreme Court, and Heartland eventually won. But then there were troubles. The courthouse got burned down. They say it was arson. And other things. I guess there was a competition between the Lakin and the Heartland people. So anyway, there was a new election. I forget exactly when. And this time Lakin won. I think it was in the early 1900s. This time Lakin won to be the county seat. So everything got transferred there, and then eventually, slowly but surely, Heartland died. And so here's all that's left is just prairie grass and cows. But again, I put the link up there so you can read more about it. And I'm still on the Santa Fe Trail. Like I said, going to be on it for a while, but it's interesting, always interesting to see those signs. If I can, here's a link up on top here to the Santa Fe Trail, National Park Service. You can find out all about it. And there's also a Santa Fe Santa Fe Trail Historical Society, I think. And I think from that National Park Service link you can get there too. If you haven't already studied up on it, click on over and take a look. It's pretty fun looking. I'm thinking this is Indian Mound. Shall we go up and see it? Looks like there's a little walkway there. Yeah, I'll take my pack off up there. Well, here's the Indian Mound I was telling you about earlier. Actually, right up there. And I think there's an informational sign up here. I'll get a picture of that. But from what the deputy was telling me, this was a spot on the trail where they would stop and use it as a defensive position so that they could see out there if the Indians were coming. And so it's got a good vantage point. I think if it was another day, I would like to come and sit up here and just listen to the breeze and look out onto the prairie there. And old Mexico. And here's how we get to it. This is called the Amazon Ditch. I think it's a flood control ditch. I saw it a few miles back where it was diverting some water from the Arkansas River. So here's Indian Mound, and Here's a sign. I'll take a better picture of it. Give me a second here. I didn't go up to the top, but I'd like to. But that's Indian Mound. It's a peaceful place up here. If I had enough food and water, I guess I could dip into here, but there's not really any way to get down into the water there. Darn. I'd like to camp here. But anyway, I would camp here and just listen to the wind and watch out on the prairie there. Yep, peaceful place. Getting into town now. Get some water, get some food, get some sleep. Hey, let me tell you something about how Indian Mound here is connected to Bent's Fort back in Colorado. You know, besides being on the Santa Fe Trail. When I was at Bent's Fort, I met a guy named Dylan who lives up here in Lakin, and I contacted him earlier today and asked him what are some good places to eat in Lakin. So he gave me a name of a place, so I really greatly appreciated that and was looking forward to it. And I checked, it's going to be closed by the time I get there. And then there's a barbecue place across the street from it. It's going to be closed by the time I get there. And then I think there's a diner in town, which is going to close probably about 30 minutes after I get there. So anyway, Dylan offered me that suggestion. And then later on he said, hey, you know what? That place is going to be closed. Or I texted him back and said the place is going to be closed, but thanks. And he said, well, you know what? I'm just going to bring you a steak. So Dylan, thank you very much. So I got to contact him in about another hour and a half or so. See where he is, and we're going to meet up with each other. Thank you, Dylan. Well, I must say, wow, and special thanks. Say Dylan, Katie, hey Charlotte, thank you very much. So I told you about Dylan. He said he's going to bring me steak dinner. No, he brought me home and had a steak dinner, and got to stay at their place last night. Slept in a bed actually. So Dylan, Katie, let's see, where are you here? Right over there. Thank you very much, and extra prayers for you. Let's pray for each other. And thank you. So I'm in Lakin. That's where Dylan and Katie live. I'm in, I think, what appears, what's the south part of town. A grain elevator there. And so I was going to try and make it to Garden City today, but I realized that Garden City is 25 miles. Something like that. So I'll probably end up short. Just find a place to camp, or if I make it to a place called Holcomb, I think that's 19 or 20 miles, then I'll just camp out in the park there. So these fields were planted with wheat here. They've done the wheat harvest, and now they got corn there. Back there as well, that field was planted with wheat. It brought to mind the story there in the Bible, you know, when Jesus and the apostles were walking through the fields of wheat, and the apostles were picking the the heads off the wheat stalks, rubbing them in their hands and eating the wheat. And the Pharisees said, "Hey, you can't do that, it's Sunday." I always wondered about that, what it would be like to do that. Well, I found here on the road a couple of loose stalks of wheat. So I tried that. Rubbed it in my hand, got the grains out, ate the wheat. I wonder if this is a different wheat. Those grains were pretty hard. But anyway, so history comes alive. Some people have said that Kansas is just long, straight, and nothing but boring cornfields. Well, you know, some sections have been long and straight, but you know, it can be as boring as you want it to be. Yeah, there's cornfields, but look at the beauty of it. Look into the beauty of it. Think of the beauty of it. Let your mind go there. And if you need to, play games and think about the maze that might be in the middle of that cornfield. You gotta go find it and try and get yourself through the maze. I've liked Kansas so far. Yeah, it looks like they're waiting for me here. I've got my own street. I'm in Holcomb. It's a little, no, I'm in Deerfield. That's where I am. I just ate over there at a place called Villa Restaurant. Doesn't really look like much from the outside. It looks like a little shack. But it's a pretty authentic place. I had the chuletas, the pork chops. They're pretty good. And so anyway, now I'm going to go to the park because it's still pretty hot. I already went 8 miles today, and I'm going to go hang out in the park here till it cools down. You know, the typical thing, hang out in the park, wait for it to cool down, and see how far I get before I drop from lack of sleep. But I think I might try and make it to Garden City tonight. Depends how much of a nap I get. And then, otherwise, if I don't make it to Garden City, there's a town called Holcomb. See, Garden City is about 20 miles, I think. There's a town called Holcomb, which is about 15 miles. So that will have given me 23 miles for the day. And if I can't make it to Holcomb, then I guess I camp out at the edge of a field somewhere. So let's see what happens. But first, maybe a couple hour nap. Okay, I've got another mission for you if you want to look it up for me. This is 1011 Main Street in the town of Deerfield, Kansas. How much does a house like this go for? Can you find it online for me and let me know? 1011 Main Street in Deerfield, Kansas. Well, hi there. See, I'm in Deerfield. I'm in the park here in Deerfield. I came out here and hung for quite a few hours, took a nap in the shade to wait out the heat. While I was here, I guess across the street there's a house, and a retired pastor named John came up, woke me out of a sleep. That's okay, John. Said, "Hey, buddy, you okay?" Evidently, his wife saw me from across the street and said, "Hey, go see if that guy's okay." And I guess it would be kind of weird if you saw some guy with a backpack, you know, sleeping in the park all day. So anyway, he and I had a talk, and then he left, and I went back to sleep a little bit, and then all of a sudden I heard this, "Hey, Mike, get up. Eat, for the journey is long." Kind of like the angel telling Elijah the same thing, you know, in the first book of Kings. So I got up and ate, and when I saw this little, what looked like a little rose right there, you can't really see it, next to me, and so I thought that was a sign to get up and get going. So it's about 8:30 or so, 8:45, and the sun's finally gone down a little bit. It's a little bit humid, so I'm going to Holcomb. It's about 9.3. It is 9.3 miles to Holcomb, so I'll walk that tonight. Get in there. I'll do it slow. It's probably 4 hours. Probably 5 hours with breaks, maybe 5.5. And then I'll find a grassy place there to sleep for a few hours, and then I'll get up early in the morning, maybe 6 o'clock, something like that, and do the final 6 miles to Garden City, and then get a motel room and wait out the heat for the day. It's supposed to be, I think, 101 or something like that. So for the whole day, that will have been like a 27-mile day. Not bad, huh, for an old guy? All right, so on to Holcomb from Deerfield. This hiking in the evening is, it can be very, very peaceful, especially with the moon out there, softly lighting the landscape, with the road nice and quiet, except for this car coming up ahead. Very nice. Well, thank you, town of Holcomb, for the use of your volleyball pits. I don't know if they've dug this out, getting ready to put the sand in, or they took the sand out to clean it. I don't know. But looks like the sand is right here. So anyway, I got here pretty quickly last night. Did about a 3-mile-an-hour average. And so now it's on to Garden City. I think it's about 7:30-ish right now. And the sun's already pretty warm, and it's humid. It's supposed to be 101, 102 the next few days. So when I get to Garden City, which is about, depending on where I stay, either 8 to 8.5 miles. When I get there, I'll decide if I stay there just the day and then start hiking at night, or stay there a night or two to wait out the heat. So a little bit of walking along train tracks, and then onto River Road, then turns into Holcomb Avenue and gets into Garden City, and there you have it. Oh, there's a zoo in Garden City. Maybe I'll go there, I don't know. One thing that I noticed about Holcomb here, there's all these subdivisions that are look like they're kind of newer. You know, by newer, I don't know, maybe 10, 20 years old, but still newer. So Holcomb's actually a little bit larger than I expected, but I think it could be that maybe a few of these people, they work over at the I think it's a meat packing plant. It's a Tyson plant over that way. That place was all lit up last night. So, you know, I'm sure operations going on 24 hours a day. So, Holcomb's also, I don't know, would you call it a suburb of Garden City? Garden City's not all that big, but still. I was kind of surprised. A little bit different from the communities that I've been in so far, ever since actually Pueblo. So it's kind of not a shock, but a surprise to see all these kind of subdivision type of homes. Here's a quiet little residential neighborhood in Garden City. First I want to say thanks to Vincent. I was about 5 miles away, so I was about 3 miles, a little over 3 miles into my walk. Vincent pulled up on the highway there and said, "Hey, You want to ride? So I figured, yeah, what the heck, it's 5 miles. It's going to be almost 100. It was getting hot already. So I hopped in. He brought me here, showed me a little bit of the town. Library looked pretty nice. Drove me by his house. And so anyway, Vincent, thank you very much. And thanks for what you do from time to time with people that you pick up, other people that you pick up. And so now I'm just walking through this little neighborhood here. Vincent dropped me off at the one motel. Didn't look like anything was ready. It was going to be ready for a bit of time, so I'm just walking up to another one right here, walking through the residential area. But like I said when I was leaving Holcomb, those kind of little subdivisions there, I'm walking through this subdivisions here in Garden City, and it almost feels kind of weird to be in a sizable town or a city. Yeah, you know, I was in Pueblo and Colorado Springs and Boulder, but I was, but still, after all this time of walking through small towns, it's just kind of a little bit of a change right now. I'm probably going to end up now, I'm thinking, staying here 2 nights because it's actually going to get up to 103 and drop down to only 72 at night, but with a lot of humidity. So I'm still scoping out my options, 2 nights at least, because then the slog to the walk to Dodge City will be about 3.5 days, and I haven't looked to see what's in between here in Dodge City to see if there's any cool camping spots or even a little motel where I can cool off for a few hours. So I'll check back with you later. Look at that, it's dark. Yeah, so I've been in Garden City the past couple days, just kind of trying to wait out the heat. It's been 101, 102, and with the humidity, the heat index was something like 124 or something like that. So I finally decided to stop waiting around. So it's a little after 11 o'clock at night, so I'm just hiking the 12 miles into Pierceville tonight. And then Pierceville's only about 700 people, so there's nothing there. Excuse me, nothing there. So I called the little church that's there, and they're gonna let me stay in the little church and during the day tomorrow, and take a nap. And then tomorrow night I will leave there about 9 or 10 o'clock at night and walk the 20 miles to Cimarron. And Cimarron, there's a old hotel built in the 1880s. It's for sale. So I contacted the owner there, and she said I could stay there during the day on Saturday, hang out, take a nap during the day, and then I'll leave Cimarron again about 9 or 10 o'clock at night and walk the I think it's 19 miles into Dodge City, and then that'll get me there on Sunday morning. And then the heat is finally breaking. Sunday it's supposed to be I think about 27 degrees cooler. So I'll hang around Dodge City for a day and a half, get my sleep pattern back on schedule, and then take off on see, that's Sunday, so I'll take off on Tuesday for the rest, well, to continue on through Kansas. So that's the plan right now. Nothing much to see, so if anything special happens, I'll let you know. Alright, Garden City to Dodge City by way of Pierceville and Cimarron. Still on the Santa Fe Trail and still following the Arkansas River.
You haven't got the guts!